Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a really fun share. This here is my Wanderlust art journal, and if you don't know what Wanderlust is, it is a year-long art course that has weekly classes by different creators. And so it's kind of like a tutorial, but it's 1 hour long and you learn a lot of different techniques. So this was my first year doing it, and I am doing it again in 2025, and I'm really excited about that. So yeah, it was really fun. I enjoyed pretty much all the classes. There was something to learn in each one of them, and I am looking forward to seeing where my creative practice goes. If you've seen some of my past videos, I do junk journaling, and I'm still doing that as my main form of memory keeping, but I'm also doing a lot of art journaling recently. So yeah, let's get started. So here I just did a little recap of the year basically, or what this book was. I have a picture of my daughters and I, because I used that in one of the classes. So part of the art course is that they give you ideas of how to break in your book so that it's not so precious, and you do like doodling and things like that in it beforehand. And also there is tabs for you to keep other things, so like you could keep tickets or films that you found inspiring, some photos, songs, etc. I didn't really use these because like I said, I do a lot of junk journaling. So I am debating how I will use these pages here that I have left over. I didn't want to start my 2025 process in this book. So I think I might either revisit this or just leave them blank, just because I want this to be the 2024 Wanderlust book. Anyways, so I had labeled this with one of their prompts, and I had saved it so that at the end of the course, I would come in and do a self-portrait. And it was supposed to be a collage self-portrait, but I really just did like a quick doodle with one of these pens here. It's kind of like a Sharpie basically, but nicer, with a finer tip. And then I just went in with gouache. And so this was recent. This was just yesterday or the day before that I did this self-portrait. So this was week 1, and you had to pick like your word for the year, or a word that you found inspiring. And this was really fun. I liked the colors. My favorite color is pink, so but I kind of I think for this one actually I watched the video, and then after I did my art journaling. So basically I found that to be the better process for me, so that way I'm not really like copying what's in the tutorial or class, but really I was just being taught a technique and then being inspired by that and then doing my own thing. So this was week 1. This was, you can see my book is kind of falling apart a little bit. This was week 2, and I think you can kind of see the progress as you move on. Like, to me, this looks pretty reserved, and actually this one I did follow along with the video, and I didn't have some of the supplies. So obviously, as you're doing an art journaling course for a whole year, there's a lot of supplies that you might not have. So I just made do with other things. I didn't have whatever they were suggesting, but I used some gold embossing powder instead to give it the gold effects. This one was really fun, and it was one of the first ones that started doing some kind of hidden journaling. So like there's some writing in here as part of the process, and this was all pretty much done with a like one of those scraper tools. Let me show you. So it was done with one of these, this one specifically. This one is a newer one. So I painted, I think, all of it. I can't remember exactly, but then like the eyes and this was done with a pen, I think. This was a very long time ago, so this was like January, February, and now we're in December, so I don't exactly remember. These two, I don't really love the outcome, but it was still fun. I don't love really the color scheme here. It's not my preferred color palette. This one was that you make your background papers with brushing them on or scraping whatever tools, and then you rip them up and make your illustration. Kind of like Eric Carle and the Very Hungry Caterpillar type of thing, or that's what it reminds me of anyways. But that's not like my favorite process, so it was fun tearing up the papers and things like that, but not something that I revisited much throughout the year. And then this one, we made different tools, so like cutting up sponges and tying them around skewers and things like that for you to draw with other things other than just brushes. This one was really fun. I also did not have the recommended paint that they did this with, so I just watered down some black acrylic paint, and then I just did that in a, let me show you what it was. So I pulled up my tools, the various tools that I use throughout the year. So let me show you. Okay, so I just cut up some sponges, and for one of the tutorials, basically I just tied it around and then painted. Some of the classes you needed a silicone scraper, and I didn't have that, and you can get them on Amazon or an art supply store, but I just ended up using a Dollar Tree rubber spatula, and that worked pretty well. And then I also had this one, which was like a makeup face massager thing, so I used that too. But back to this one, it was one of these bottles with this really thin opening here, and so I just mixed the paint, and then you just went in and did your kind of like a henna type of painting there, and that was fun. And I really liked how she came out. And then the background I did with some stenciling. This one was really fun too. I went in with watercolor pencils and then activated those with some water, obviously, and then shaded them in and made some borders with some border punches. And this I cut out of a magazine that's it has like art stuff. I forget exactly, it's diary something. I forget the name right now. This was the first time drawing a face in here, right? Oh no, a more detailed face, I guess I should say. Which this one made me realize that I didn't really know exactly how to draw lips or nose that well. So then they also had a mini art course on drawing faces, so I did that one too, and I did that one over a couple days when it was raining and there's nothing else to do. So I really enjoyed learning how to draw some faces. This one I remember really struggling with. It was so fun, like with the colors and all the different textures, but I messed up some of the detailing, and then I just kind of painted all over it and then kind of started over, keeping some of the background detail. And at the end, I really like this one. I love the explosion of color. I love the detailing on top of, this is a printed butterfly that I cut out, but then I went in with some like Posca pens, some dupes, and these bright colors, and gave it some more detail. This one was like about textures, and I don't know if you can see, but so basically you started out with a picture and then you went in and added texture with different things. And I want to say that what I was using was not quite what the class was using. So I just used tissue paper to like give some texture to this bird and the buildings and things. And it was fun, but it looks pretty messy. You can see it there. And then I added some details to the buildings with pen. I I don't really remember what this class was about, but yeah, I think that's Twiggy, maybe. Just cut that out. Here, it was just basically like an explosion of texture and things. I really like these hand-drawn circles there. And this is a picture of my mom that I scanned in and then put in here. And by this point, I had found Sandy Hester. She's here on YouTube and I love watching her videos. And so this was inspired by some of her paintings. She likes to draw or paint birds and write in the words of, like, different words. So I really like this one. And it was about, this class was about texture. So I added some, it's like a beaded gel thing, which I did not like. So that's what this is here, but yeah, I didn't enjoy it. So I might declutter that. This one, there's nothing really specific about this one. I do like the strips of washi that I added in and the bright pop of color. So as I mentioned earlier, the course encourages you to break in your pages before you even start the course. So like as part of your prep work. And so you can see like these circles here that I put in with some Tombow aqua markers, I think they're called. No, that's a glue. Let me see. These. Oh, they are Tombow. Okay, so some of these, I just went in and drew different things and I splashed some different colors in. And then that just lets you be freer with the page because you can't mess it up. You already put some doodles in there. And this, I also did with this squishy bottle. But I thinned it out even more. And I really liked writing with this. This one, I don't remember what the class was, but I really liked how she came out. Originally, she didn't come out like this. I did go back in like a couple weeks later and I added some more detail. I gave her some lashes and I think I added these like flower doodle outline thing. And yeah, I really like how this one came out. This was, I think, for just practicing lettering, which I used, let me show you. I used this pen here. It's another Tombow, it's a brush pen. And I don't know how people can do such pretty hand lettering with this because, I don't know, it doesn't really bend for me the way that I think it should. So anyways, I just went in with some oil pastels and just put in some color, which is like my favorite thing to do. And I put this paper here so it doesn't transfer. This was, the girl that did this class also did this class. I forget her name, but I think she's from Portugal. I might be messing that up, but I'm pretty sure. So she is very much inspired by nature. So you can kind of see like, here's the tree, here's kind of like more tree and roots and things like that. But I don't exactly remember what this class was about. But it looks cool. And here's some of the blobs that too. Once I have paint left over, sometimes I just put it down on scraps piece of paper and then I put that in a little bin that I pull out from to build collages and things like that. This one was fun because it was more along the lines of what I do with junk journaling. So I used a brown paper bag to make these. And then I put books to be read and I just categorized them. So she was just, I think it was like doing lists and kind of a more minimalistic type of journaling. So then I just mirrored the scrapbooking paper, added a sticker here, and I like it. I like the brown with the green. This one, so here, I think I was practicing my lettering again, and I feel like that's way better than this over here. And then There's a girl, I think her name is Sophie McPike or Sophie Pike. She's on YouTube and she does these little star thingies. So at this point I had found her, and also maybe inspired by her bright colors, because up until now, oh no, I did use quite a bit of bright colors, which is what I like. And then this was stamping. So I think they had some like special types of foam sheets that you can carve out and use as stamps. I didn't have that. So again, I was using what I had, and I had some Dollar Tree poster boards. So I peeled off one of the paper sides, and I don't think I have one to show you right now, but I peeled off the paper side, carved the foam sheet, and then just used that to stamp. And then I went in with a black marker and added in some of the detail. And I don't know if I saw this somewhere or what, but I ended up really liking the little heart cheeks, and I just kind of started doing that a lot throughout other works. This one, we were using rubber stamps, and again, I didn't have rubber stamps at this time. It was like carving the rubber stamps. So I carved out my stamps out of the poster boards. Let me show you. Okay, so here's all my stamp stuff. So these are the poster boards, and I just took off one side and carved it with anything really. Like you can use a bun folder and just dig into it and make your pattern. That was loud, sorry. So you can see I made another stamp. And here are the ones that I made for this class. And I ended up really liking making my own stamps. So I ended up ordering some rubber things, but I think I almost like these, and it's way cheaper. Like you can get a giant board for $1.25 and make all kinds of stamps. It does take a little bit more paint with these, I think. Here's some. I made another girl and just different kinds of stamps. So then in the class, she had you write words that you felt described you and were like inspirational. So I wrote them in, and I think by now my lettering got a little bit better. And here you can see another one of the girls with the heart cheeks. I think we were doing, yeah, we were still doing stamping here, because each couple, like every couple weeks, maybe every 6 weeks, I think it was, we did get a new theme. So it was like different ideas to inspire you. And sorry, there's a very loud car. This class I really liked. You can see I made some stamps, and these were made with the foam sheets, I think, still. And by this, I think after this class, since we were still stamping, yeah, these were definitely foam, because I have the triangle of this one still. I was like, okay, I want to try out the rubber stamps. So here we just did like different background papers with like a jelly printing thing. And again, I still was using my foam sheets for this, but I did end up getting a jelly plate because I ended up liking a lot of the process. So what is cool about this is that you can try things out first, and seeing if it's a technique that you actually like, then you can invest in the tools to do that technique. So I didn't get everything that they always suggested. I just kind of went and tried to do certain things. So then after we made our papers, we made a weave thing. So I just left it with, I didn't do anything else extra to it. And this one, I don't think it was I don't remember if this was a class or not. It might have, they also had kind of like it's called like Artful Musings or something like that, where it wasn't necessarily a class, but it was somebody either talking about their own practice or talking about how they organize their stuff in their in their studio and things like that. So, but they also would have like a final product, and that would be inspiring in itself. So then, I can't remember, but I think this one may have been a class because we did an image transfer thing. I can't remember. Yeah, this one was cool. Again, this was inspired by Sandy Hester. Like, she writes big caps words in her work, and I really like how that looks. This one was cool because it was like you took an image and then you cut it up and you made patterns and things on the different sections, and then you put it together. So like her little ruffle here, it was another pattern, and so I painted it and drew the little dots. I painted her dress another color, gave her little hearts. Her little hat I also painted, so that was cool. This was making some thumbnails. So basically you take a 2x2, so you could do a 2x2 or 3x3, but basically you make a square and you look at a picture and you try to get details in that little thumbnail. And then I did some swatching of the different pencils that I was using. This one I really enjoyed. It was kind of like a doodle type of architecture. So you pick your picture and then you draw it and watercolor it in. And yeah, I really like that. And the artist that was teaching it had so many good tips on like what things to look for, maybe things you don't worry about, how to assess the light and the shadows and things like that. And I really liked it. So when I said I might use these pages to revisit some of the classes, I think I might do some of my favorite ones and then go back and do that. So this was the picture that I did with this. I had to give her more hair because the way I cut the picture. So this is me and my girls, and I really like how this looks. I mean, we all ended up looking like my mom somehow. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. I liked using the gouache and the watercolors. And here's some more of those pre-doodles that just kind of work for you. So this was a really fun page to make. This one was really cute. Like, the artist that did this class is so good, and all her work was beautiful. Mine is obviously not like hers, but it was still really fun to recap a trip in just 9 little squares or rectangle-ish. So yeah, and then the idea was that you basically just use 2 colors of your water-based markers. This one, we like made some shapes with watercolor and things, and then cut them up and put them on a background. I don't remember like anything crazy about this one. And then I started doing a lot more art out, like not just on the days that we had the class, which is the whole point. So then I really started to what I feel like discover my own style. So I brought things back, like the stamps. I did a lot of doodling in the back, and I like doing this like scratchy thing all over my page, so you can see like a lot of these which were there in some of the start of the year. Maybe, let me see. Like you can kind of see a little one there, but like maybe a little bit scared. And then like here, I just did a little bit. And you can see it in some spots. Like right there, you can see one. So anyways, I really liked adding those little scribbles to my stuff, wherever the pencil wanted to go. And then I did all these little dots, which is really therapeutic. And it's just like very relaxing. And then this was like a fun, I think this is one of the art musings or whatever they're called. And it was basically like just scribbling and not even thinking about where things were going. I just pulled out all my favorite colors and I just started going to town. And again, I have one of these because it was like oil pastels. If you have never done that, you should definitely try it. In this class was also this girl, the Portuguese girl. So this one was really fun. It was like using dried flowers and things that you had collected. Here I have a little weed that I pressed from one of our walks. And again, you can see the scribbles. You can see the pink and yellow that I really like, pink and yellow, pink and yellow. So I think like it kind of started bringing out my own style. And we also made at one point very early on in the year, we made gesso with plaster of Paris mixture, and it gives like this texture, and I really liked using that too. This class was a little bit more like a junk journaling thing. So I actually did not make this with the class, but I already had this, and one of the things that they did was like decorate an envelope. So I was like, oh, let me use this that has been hanging around my little stash for a while. And we made with a pressed flower, we made like a journaling card. So this was like very junk journaling to me, the pocket. And then we made like nature watercolor. And then I think I just journaled about something like this one is talking about the sunrise, just being thankful for the sun and like all the warmth and things that the sun brings. And so yeah, I just put these in a little vellum envelope and then just splash some color around. That was fun. This one, I don't remember exactly the class. Oh yeah, I remember. Okay, so you had to like rust things and like soak them in vinegar to make like rusted papers. I didn't have anything that was rusty, so I just made kind of rusty looking colors and used some cutouts that I had from, I think, another class or something. And these are like coffee dyed papers. And then after this class, I found like 4 things rusted in our yard when we were building a clubhouse for the kids. And I found like 4 different things, just like having to dig to build a foundation. But anyways, so I found things. So I might go back and try this. This one was really fun. It was like the class had you using different scraps of fabric and you did like some stitching. I only stitched here, and you made this off like out of your journal on a separate page, and then I just ended up gluing it in here. And then I cut up some little pieces of the same thread and just put it here, kind of like sprinkles. And it's very thick at this point. I think by this point my journal started getting really thick. And I added a pre-made little scrap journaling card, and I did some journaling about my creative practice. And yeah, here you can see that I think, no, I used a different one, but oh yeah, they had you like put thread around a cardboard and things like that to make different patterns. So I made thread circles, like twine circles, hot glue them down, and then use that as a stamp. So that was cool. And then there's a class that had you do like some fabric dyeing, and it didn't look like as interesting to me. And they do recommend that you do all the classes and not skip anything because you don't know what you're gonna really like. But it really wasn't like my thing at all to go and dye some fabric with natural things. I don't know. But I just cut up a little piece to represent that class, and then I put some color down. And then the next class was a zine, making your own zine. And I think I may have closed it while it was still a little bit wet. But it's basically like you fold a printer size paper and then you color it and yeah, so here's my little zine. And I added some lyrics of a song that I really like. And then when you have them, just like, because you paint the whole paper and you put coloring down and collaging down. And then when you fold them, it's like their own little, and so I tucked that in here. And then the last class was this, which was, it was a class, but also one of the museum videos. And I really, really, really like how this came out. I love like all the soft colors in here. They're repeating scribbly circles, the scribbly leaf. So I'm really happy that this was like the last spread. I don't know, even though there's blank pages in here. But then after I was done with this, that's when I came back and did my little self-portrait, just like a doodle. So yeah, that's my whole year of art journaling in this book. And it was so fun and I can't wait to do it again. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions about any supplies or what the class is or anything like that, I'll leave a link below for the class for next year. It's not an affiliate link or anything like that. So just feel free to check it out if you're interested in joining the Wanderlust community. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.